Y'all know who earned the most money annually in the United States? Asian people. You know who earned the least amount of money annually in the United States? Black people. But you know who the biggest consumer in the Asian community is? Black people. Understand this, black people. Do we not know that we can actually become the wealthiest group of people because we work harder than everybody else, but we spend more than anybody else? You know what that means? That means if we actually put our resources together and we actually buy black, we will be able to siphon all of those resources in our own community. Everybody can get a bag. Everybody can get money. But what we do is we put all our resources in everybody else's community. And because Asians have things that are the most affordable and the most convenient to us, we spend the most with them. Do you ever see Asian people lined up spending money at black businesses? That's because it takes them 21 days before they spend money outside of their community. It only takes black people 2 hours. So by the time you get paid, you spending money somewhere else with somebody else, putting resources in somebody else's community, but not our own. That's why the wealth gap is so big between us and everybody else.
In every black community, you have a Pakistani or an Indian-owned convenience store attached to the gas station. You got an Arab-owned, you buy, we fry spot. You have a Vietnamese-owned nail tech spot. You have a Korean-owned beauty supply house. You have a Jewish or Caucasian-owned payday loan spot. Does any of them live where they get money? None of these foreign-owned entities support even the Pop Warner Football League or the basketball team or the Little League Baseball. You never even seen their names on the jerseys before. They do nothing for us. So we live in a colony right now, brother, and not a community. The people that own the property and the businesses don't live in the environment.
And extract everything out of it.
But a community is when the people that live in the environment own the property and the business and reinvest in that area because they are benefiting from it and they want to increase the value of it. We can't become a neighborhood again without keeping a dollar among ourselves.
To be honest, I've been thinking about making this video for a long time. Black Americans are among the biggest consumers in the USA. With over $2 trillion spending power, Black Americans still exist among the poorest communities in America. Where do their spendings go? Who owns all of those stores that we see in the Black Americans' neighborhoods? Most of them, they are owned by Asians, Latinos, or even Arabs. Why can't Black Americans start their own stores instead of their own communities so that their own dollars will keep circulating inside their own community? Where is that problem? Why don't they do that? This is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I want you to be dropping your own opinions down there in the comment section as you're watching this video. Let's watch this clip so we come back at the end and give you my own insights. Please don't forget to like the video, and all credits belong to original creators of the clips that are featured in this video. Peace and love.
Those Arabs and them Muslims that be in corner stores in the hood do not like black people. Especially when they find out you a black person that can count your money and ain't gonna put up with they smart remarks. Oh yeah, they definitely don't like you. Because why I done went to my local corner store, right? 3 times in a row, these Arabs done charged me more than what the price of my stuff really was. So the 3rd time they did, I just said something. I'm like, what's going on? I said, do you think I'm slow? Do you think I can't count or something, bro? Put the right price up there. Then he got it to where you can't see the numbers on the register and shit when he ringing it up. He just ringing it up. And then they be so quick to throw the receipt out. He said, oh, no, my bad. No, it's not your bad, bro. Stop all that playing with me mentally, man. And then I go back. Look, I go back. You get what I'm saying? He give me a receipt, but I get me some BLKs. You know what BLKs is? You know what BLKs is. Why he gonna throw them at me on the counter? He gonna throw them on the counter. So I said, hey man, get me a bag, put my stuff in the bag. He said, oh no, I can't put it in the bag. You put it in your own bag. I said, nah. If I was to show out in here, you really mad because I caught you trying to cheat me out of my money. So I took 2 quarters out of my pocket. I said, now, if I paid for something and I just threw these quarters at your chest, would you like it? He said, no, we better than that. I said, okay, so next time put my product that I buy in my hand if it's coming from behind the counter. Keep your eyes out on it, bro. I'm telling y'all, they do not like black people, and when they get a chance, they will cheat you, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
I have a huge love and respect for Asian culture, but
damn sure Asian cuisine. I just find the way they approach food to be very interesting, and to me, just more, I don't know, it's just more fascinating, and it's more inventive, and the way they use spices and peppers and more natural things to make food saltier or sweeter. I just find it to be very interesting, which is the reason why you guys typically see me make so many different Asian dishes, right? So for me, I spend a lot of time in different Asian stores, primarily 99 Ranch Market, but also H Mart if I don't feel like traveling as far. But I will say, I don't know why this is, and I hate that this is the case because I know that this is a stereotype that has been around definitely for as long as I live, which is some Asian people don't feel safe or don't trust black folk. Because anytime I walk in an H Mart, I be in there just as happy and go just as giddy, ready to do my shopping for the month. And all I can feel are people staring me down. Not staring me down because they think they know me from online. Not staring me down because they're amazed at how many products I have in my basket. They are looking at me, going from aisle to aisle, following me to make sure that I'm not about to steal anything. And the only reason why it has not stopped me from shopping and supporting those stores is because I have to hope and assume that not everyone is like that, but also because I'm still going to respect the culture and I still love the food, so I kind of have no choice but to go there. But that is oftentimes my unfortunate experience at shopping at stores like H Mart or, any type of boutique Asian grocery store.
Koreans have been cashing black dollars in the hair game for decades while locking us out of the industry that we fucking built. If it wasn't for the black dollar, your Korean ass would be making shit in the fucking US. Gassieji, bitch.
I will never be purchasing from a Korean-owned beauty supply store ever again.
Chinese owner of this market does not allow black people to enter.
What kills me the most about this even New York situation is that black people can give these companies their money. We can make these people be able to eat at night. We can make their...
I really want to tell anyone that doesn't understand why those Asian businesses that kind of caters towards black people, why they are so rude and racist, knowing full well that their whole economy, their whole revenue depends on black people. Let me tell you why. Because it's disgraceful to do what they are doing. If you are racist, if you think you are superior than someone based on your skin color or based on your work ethic or based on whatever you have that you think is better than someone else, the last thing you want to do is create anything to help those people out. You don't want to do that. So can you imagine the kind of thought process they have to go through to feel like they need to make those businesses for you or for us? And basically having to admit to themselves that the only way they can survive in this country is by providing hair care to the people they hate. Like, there is no ego boost in this. There is no way they feel better about themselves. Whenever they have those assemblies, with other business owners, or whenever they go back in Asia, they cannot really brag about making hair products for like black people. I'm sure they hate it. And I'm sure they tried to own other businesses or other things, and I'm sure everything they tried failed miserably. So the only thing that works for them is basically their punishment. Having to deal with black people all the time. I feel like we shouldn't even say anything about this issue because they're already being punished. If you are racist, having to deal with the people that you hate, having to see them all the time, that must be hell. Now that we know, we can just focus a little bit more on black-owned businesses. Well, we also have issues on that side, but it's much better than whatever's going on over here, for sure.
Asian American businesses have been operating in black communities for 60 years. I'll say it again. The Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, and the United States opened the door to Asian immigration in 1965 to put immigrants in the way of black people. And this idea that the tension between business owners and customers is one of mutual cultural misunderstanding that could be overcome if they just got to know each other better, the time for that has long passed. And as I've said before, the problem with framing the misunderstanding as mutual is where one demographic owns the businesses and the other demographic has to pay. There's no mutuality. There is a power imbalance. The only situation that I could see being beneficial at this point would require Asian Americans to be willing to leverage their ability to secure the business loans, to secure supplier accounts, and to attain business licenses, to open in Black communities specifically to hire Black people to work in the businesses and to provide the professional development opportunities so that Black people can become the leadership in the businesses in their communities. But I don't have a lot of hope that Asian Americans are willing to do that because the Asian American business owners that we see currently are not even willing to treat their Black customers as human. So I fully support Black people boycotting these problematic businesses in their community. And I want to say that I think another thing that non-Black people aren't aware of is that it is not as simple as boycotting the businesses and putting them out of business and then opening your own to compete. Because the system will find ways to still not give them the loans or rezone them so they can't open a business or not grant the business licenses. And suppliers are literally conspiring against Black people who have managed to open a business in their own community to not supply to them because they don't want Black people competing with the Asian American owned businesses in the community. So I wish that I had more to offer in the way of solutions, but I really don't. But please do not gaslight Black people with respect to what the issue is. Obviously, the issue of Asian American owned businesses operating in Black communities is a huge source of tension because it is part of the daily violence faced by Black people in their own communities when they are disrespected as customers, to the literal physical violence, as was the case of the salon in Brooklyn, where a Black woman was locked into the salon by workers while they beat her with broomsticks, to the damage done to the psyches of particularly Black children when they are accused of shoplifting. And this isn't a topic that I'm going to be able to cover in one video, but it is a conversation that I do want to start. I think that if you ask some people what was the source of the tension, they'll say the LA riots and what happened in Koreatown, but you cannot mention the LA riots without recognizing the unaliving of Latasha Harlins the year before. A 15-year-old girl who was unalived by an Asian shop owner who thought that she was shoplifting orange juice, but the money to pay for the orange juice was in her hand when she was unalived. To overlook that is to value profit and property over Black bodies, which is at the root of the United States systemically racist system and capitalism. But I think that we have to go all the way back to the Civil Rights Amendment of 1964 and then the opening of Asian immigration in 1965. So in 1964, white power structure almost faced accountability to Black people. Black people should have started to be able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities. But instead, in 1965, the United States opened the door to Asian immigration, and redlining meant that Asian Americans were receiving business loans, but only to open businesses in Black communities, and Black people were still not receiving loans to open businesses in their own communities. So where you have this weaponized positionality of Asian Americans being put in Black people's way, of course you are going to have resentment not only over the supplanted opportunity to open businesses in their communities, but also over the fact that the Black dollar is now being paid out twice. Once when the customer pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian business owner removes that wealth from the Black community. And I frequently heard the tension being framed as mutual misunderstanding, where these Asian shop owners didn't know about the civil rights struggles of Black people, and Black people were not familiar with the culture of Asian business owners. But I don't think that it can be framed as mutual misunderstanding where there is an uneven power dynamic. You have one demographic that is the business owners, and you have the other demographic that is having to pay. So where there is uneven power, I don't think that it's accurate to frame it as mutual misunderstanding.
Why are there so many Chinese food restaurants in black neighborhoods? It's due to a very special type of seasoning called
racism. It's what's for dinner.
Back in 1882, the U.S. passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning most Chinese immigrants from entering the country. But because the government loves money, it left a loophole. If you were a laborer, no entry. But if you owned a business, you could qualify as a merchant, which meant you could stay and you could bring your family over. Then in 1915, a court ruled that owning a restaurant counted as a business. And just like that, opening a Chinese restaurant became a one-way ticket into America. Then came a new problem in the 1960s. Basically, banks were racist as fudge. If Chinese folks wanted to open up restaurants in white neighborhoods, the answer was often no.
But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities.
Happy Black History Month, y'all.
Thank you. And what I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with black blood? Yes. Right? And the fact that you don't recognize that shows you how much you take this for granted and how much you don't care about the future. Because yes, if you understood this, you would be grateful for their sacrifice and understand what they have gone through for you to have rights.
Black Americans makes up to 14% of the total US population, but only up to 3% of the businesses in the USA are owned by Black Americans. The purchasing power of Black Americans is up to 2.1 trillion US dollars, but only after a few hours of receiving their paychecks, Black Americans will have spent their dollars into other communities. It is said that the money that Black Americans earn circulates only one time within their community, while inside Asian community, their money circulates about 9 times before it is spent out of their community. If you are a Black American, you've probably seen that most of the stores, beauty stores, grocery stores, liquor stores are either owned by a Chinese guy, Korean guy, a Latino guy, or even Arabs. These guys, they own their businesses inside Black Americans' neighborhood, inside the Black Americans' community. And most of their clients, they're Black Americans. And these guys, after earning their money, they will take their money that was spent by Black Americans and they will take this money to their own community. It will be used to develop their own communities. This money will be used to take their kids to Ivy League universities. It will be used to fund other businesses within their community. It will be used to buy real estate properties for these community members, not Black Americans. Now, I want you to imagine, what if all the money that is spent by Black Americans is spent on Black-owned businesses? And the problem is not many Black-owned businesses are available. You will not find enough grocery stores that can satisfy the consumers within the Black American community. So where the problem is, Black Americans cannot start their own businesses. They cannot start their own grocery stores, their own beauty stores, their own liquor stores. How can we solve this problem? Because we've seen that one of the problems that Black Americans have got is they cannot easily get loans from banks in the USA because of the system is built in a way that doesn't make it easy for Black Americans to start their own business, to have access to funds that can be used to start their own businesses. In many Asian countries and even some developing countries, there is a system that is used by people who cannot access funds from the banks. They group themselves together and they be saving a certain amount of money each and every single month. And then they take this amount of money, they give it to one of the members of this group. Then this money is used as a capital for a business. I'll just give you example. Imagine 20 Black Americans who aspire to start a business. They put themselves together. And then they agree that each and every single month they be saving $2,000 for each, which means that at the end of the month, they will be able to raise $40,000. And then they take this money, $40,000, they give it to one of the members. And this member use this money to start his or her own business. And then the next month, they give the same amount of money to another member until all members are given money. This is one of the systems that Black Americans can use to raise their own funds, not waiting for the money from the bank, because we have seen that it is not easy for banks to give money to Black Americans. This system has worked in many Asian countries, for many Koreans, for many Chinese. They use this system to raise funds to start a business. There's another system that can easily be used. If there is any Black American who is successful and has got enough money, he can start renting money to other Black Americans who aspire to start a business, or even give them grants, because this is the best way for Black Americans to develop each other, to make sure that they get out of this loop of poverty. And I promise you, if Black Americans start practicing this system, it will not take long time for them to start recognizing changes. What I want to tell you guys is that you have to remember that if you can learn to keep your money inside your own community, it will not be hard for you to develop. It will not be hard for you to start owning your own banks. It will not be hard for you to start owning your own manufacturing companies. It will not be hard for you to start owning your own grocery stores. It will not be hard for you to start owning your own supermarket chains. But this will require that the mindset of many Black Americans change. They learn to serve, they learn to support themselves, they learn to love themselves. If you see your Black American brother or sister owning a business, please support him or her. Spend your money in his business so that you learn to keep your money inside your own community. That is how you'll be able to build your own sustainable systems that will help your community to develop. That was my message. It is time for Black Americans to stop making other communities rich while their own community stay poor. Please like the video if you have enjoyed the message in this video, and subscribe if you want to watch more other episodes like this. Mr. TA signing off. Ciao.